Okay, ready to dive in? We got 8 stories to unpack, and each one is, well, let's just say they're the kind that make you double-check a locks at night.
I love it. It's like venturing into the shadowy corners of our collective imagination.
Exactly. And, what fascinates me is how these stories, even though they're fictional, they often reflect very real fears and anxieties.
Oh, absolutely. They tap into that primal unease we all have about the unknown, the things that go bump in the night.
Right. So let's start with Lot 36.
Okay, lot 36.
This one's all about greed, that insatiable desire for more.
Classic theme.
The main character, Nick, he buys this storage unit thinking he's going to find treasure.
Damn.
Well, he stumbles upon a collection of, let's just say, peculiar items.
Peculiar how? Give me the details.
There's a talking board, some strange artifacts, and this whole vibe of the occult.
Oh, spooky.
And get this, the storage unit's previous owner, there's security footage of him coming in every day for decades, always with a bag, but leaving empty-handed.
Wait, what? Every day for decades? That's creepy. What was he doing in there?
Right. It's like a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
So what does Nick do with this talking board?
Well, he takes it to an expert, Agatha, and she discovers these 3 hidden books inside.
Hidden books.
Yeah, and they're not just any books. They're described as super rare, valuable, dealing with demons and dark rituals.
Uh-oh. This is where it starts to get really interesting.
But there's a 4th book,
A 4th book.
and it's even more mysterious. It's said to contain spells to summon and trap demons.
Okay, now we're talking. I bet that book is highly sought after.
You got it. And this is where Roland comes in.
Roland. Who's he?
He's a collector, someone who knows a lot about these kinds of things.
I see. So he teams up with Nick to find this 4th book.
Exactly. But Roland has his own secrets.
Oh, I bet he does. What kind of secrets?
Turns out he knows a lot about the storage unit's previous owner. This guy was a descendant of a wealthy family, but he lost everything because of his obsession with the occult.
Wow, so this obsession runs deep.
Yeah, and it gets worse. He even summoned a demon and trapped it within his own sister.
Trapped a demon in his sister? That's messed up. Talk about family drama taken to a whole new level.
So, Nick and Roland, they find a hidden chamber within the storage unit.
A hidden chamber, like a secret ritual room.
Exactly. And guess what they find there?
Don't tell me this sister's body.
Yep, still trapped after all these years.
Chills, literal chills. It's like a warning, don't mess with forces you don't understand.
And Roland, he even cautions Nick to be careful, says that even a small mistake could awaken the trapped entity.
Wise words. Did Nick listen?
Of course not. Blinded by greed, he rushes to grab the 4th book.
Oh no, what happened?
The entity awakens, devours Roland, and the book bursts into flames.
Classic case of greed leading to a gruesome end. It's a reminder that some things are best left undisturbed.
Okay, let's move on to story number 2, The Graveyard Rats.
The graveyard rats, okay. Hit me with it.
This one features Mason, a gravedigger who's drowning in debt.
Sounds like a tough job.
And, to make matters worse, he's plagued by rats.
Rats in a graveyard? That's a recipe for a horror story right there.
So, desperate for money, he turns to grave robbing.
Grave robbing, that's risky business.
It is. And while searching a corpse, he finds a gold tooth, but he accidentally drops it into the grave.
Oh no.
As he's trying to get it back, a rat bites him.
Ew.
And this bite, it's like it triggers something primal in him. He becomes obsessed with getting rid of the rats.
So he goes on a rat killing spree.
Pretty much. But it leads him to a much bigger discovery. He stumbles upon an elaborate underground world.
An underground world. What's down there?
A hidden black church devoted to this horrifying tentacled elder god.
Whoa, that sounds straight out of a Lovecraft novel.
It does, right? And there's this scene, it's super vivid. Mason finds a corpse in a praying position, clutching a locket with the image of this elder god. He takes the locket, and the corpse comes back to life, demanding its return.
Whoa, talk about protecting your beliefs even in death.
Right, it's like the corpse is a guardian of this ancient deity.
It definitely emphasizes the power of belief and the reverence, or maybe fear, surrounding this elder god.
In the end, Mason gets trapped underground. Probably meets a grisly end thanks to those rats.
A grim reminder that greed and disrespect for the dead don't pay off.
And get this, the story's actually inspired by the Salem witch trials.
Salem, wow, that adds a whole other layer of historical context.
Definitely. And it's a reminder that fear and superstition can drive people to do some pretty terrible things.
A timeless theme, unfortunately. So, what's next? What other terrors await us? From graveyards to alien invasions, huh? Our next story, The Autopsy, takes us on a wild ride.
This one's all about losing control, that fear of something taking over your body.
Oh, that's a deep-seated fear for sure. Invasion of the Body Snatchers type stuff, right?
Exactly. So picture this, a mining town gripped by fear.
Okay, I'm picturing it. Go on.
There's been an explosion in the mine, 10 workers dead.
Oh, that's awful.
And the sheriff, Ned, calls in his old friend Dr. Carl to perform the autopsies.
Makes sense. So what's so strange about these deaths?
Well, Dr. Carl, he's a brilliant guy, but he's also battling stomach cancer.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
He knows he's got only a few months left.
Wow. So he's facing his own mortality while examining these bodies?
Exactly. And right from the start, he senses something is off.
What do you mean? What's wrong with the bodies?
They don't show the typical signs of death from an explosion. And he finds this strange hole in one of the chests leading right to the heart.
A hole in the chest.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The heart and lungs are completely drained of blood.
Okay, that's definitely not normal.
So he decides to examine Joe Allen, the worker who seemingly caused the explosion. But as Carl begins the autopsy, Joe's body suddenly springs back to life.
Whoa, hold on. Back to life, like a zombie.
Not exactly. Turns out it's an alien parasite.
An alien parasite. Now that's a twist.
Yeah, it entered Joe's body while he was hiking near a supposed meteor shower.
Oh, I see where this is going. The meteor shower wasn't a meteor shower at all.
Nope, it was an alien spaceship. And this parasite, it explains that they're these small, sense-deprived beings that can control a human host and feed on their blood.
Okay, that's seriously creepy. It's like our worst fears about alien invasion coming true.
Right. And get this, the parasite wants Dr. Carl's body as its next host.
Oh, no.
It even offers to cure his cancer.
Wow, what a dilemma. Survival or saving humanity?
But Dr. Carl, he's a smart guy. He comes up with a plan.
What does he do?
He pretends to agree to the transfer, but before the parasite can fully take over, he blinds himself, ruptures his eardrums, and cuts a nerve that'll cause him to bleed out.
Whoa, that's intense. Talk about going to extremes.
But he's not done. He also uses his own blood to write a message on his body, telling whoever finds him to listen to the recording of the autopsy session.
That's incredibly clever. He's using his last moments to warn others.
Exactly. And it works. Ned finds Carl's body, listens to the recording, and understands the terrifying truth. He burns Carl's body, destroying the parasite before it can spread.
Wow, what a hero. He sacrificed himself to save humanity.
A true act of bravery. But it leaves us with that chilling question. What else is out there?
Right, what other threats might be lurking in the vastness of space? It's unsettling to think about.
Speaking of unsettling, let's talk about the outside. This one delves into the pressures of society, the desire to fit in, especially when it comes to beauty standards.
Oh, this is a topic that hits close to home for a lot of people. That constant pressure to look a certain way.
It follows Stacy, a socially awkward woman who becomes obsessed with a beauty cream called Aloe Glow.
A beauty cream, huh? What's so special about it?
Well, she gets it as a gift from her coworker at a Christmas party.
A Christmas party.
Yeah, it's filled with these women who are all about appearances, constantly gossiping and comparing themselves.
I know the type.
Stacy, she feels like an outsider. She wants to be accepted by them, to be part of their world.
That's understandable. We all want to feel like we belong.
So she starts using the cream, even though it causes a bad reaction on her skin.
Wait, a bad reaction? Like what?
She gets this rash, but she's convinced it's just part of the transformation process.
Oh no, she's letting her desire for beauty blind her to the harm it's causing.
And it gets weirder. The cream starts communicating with her through the TV.
What? Communicating through the TV? How?
It encourages her to keep using it, promising she'll achieve the beauty she desires. It's like a demonic infomercial playing on repeat.
That's so creepy. It's like the cream is manipulating her, preying on her insecurities.
Exactly. Her husband, Keith, he notices what's happening and tries to intervene.
Good for him. Someone needs to snap her out of it.
But she's so caught up in this pursuit of beauty that she pushes him away.
That's so sad. He loves her for who she is, but she can't see it.
Eventually, the cream manifests into this human-like creature in the basement.
Whoa, hold on. It manifests, like becomes a real creature.
Yep, and instead of being horrified, Stacy embraces it.
She embraces it. That's terrifying. It's like she's completely lost herself.
And in a truly disturbing turn of events, she ends up killing Keith when he tries to help her.
Oh my God. That's tragic. It shows how far gone she is, how this obsession has warped her mind.
In the end, she goes back to work, transformed into this beautiful version of herself. But it's a hollow victory. built on lies and tragedy.
The outside is a chilling reminder that true beauty comes from within. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of societal pressures and the importance of self-acceptance.
From the pressures of looking good to the power of art, our next story, Pickman's Model, explores that unsettling feeling we get when we encounter a piece of art that truly disturbs us.
Ooh, I love this one. Art that gets under your skin.
It follows Thurlbur, an artist who's captivated by the work of his classmate, Richard Pickman.
Okay, and what's so disturbing about Pickman's art?
Well, his paintings are filled with these grotesque, monstrous figures. They're more than just figments of his imagination.
What do you mean?
Pickman claims that they're real, that he's painting from life. He even refers to them as family portraits.
Whoa, that's creepy. It's like he's tapping into some other dimension, some dark corner of reality.
And he takes Thurlbur to his hidden underground studio where he creates these masterpieces.
Oh, I bet that's a sight to behold. What's it like down there?
It's like stepping into a nightmare. They encounter a monstrous creature emerging from a well, and it seems to take Pickman with it.
Wait, so Pickman is gone?
Here's the thing. His paintings reappear in the art gallery, even though Thurlbur had burned them.
What? How is that possible?
It's like his art has a life of its own, a power that extends beyond the canvas.
That's seriously unsettling. It's like Pickman's connection to these creatures, to this other realm, was deeper than anyone imagined.
Years later, Thurlbur receives a painting from Pickman, a depiction of a witch's feast, and he notices a child among the figures.
Oh no, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, it foreshadows what will happen to Thurlbur's own son.
Oh God, no, don't tell me.
Pickman returns, wanting Thurlbur to judge his latest masterpiece. He takes him back to the underground studio, but this time, Thurlbur is terrified.
He's probably seen enough to know this isn't going to end well.
Exactly. So he shoots Pickman.
He shoots him. Wow, that's a drastic measure.
As Pickman dies, he says, "They are not imaginations, they are real. I have seen the things, now you will see them."
Chills. It's like a curse. Thurlbur has been exposed as something truly sinister.
And it doesn't end with Pickman's death. Thurlbur's son becomes obsessed with the paintings, and his wife, Rebecca, seems to fall under their influence.
Oh no, this is going to be bad.
She ends up cooking their son in the oven as part of a ritualistic feast.
Oh my God, that's horrifying. It's like Pickman's art corrupted them, led them down this dark path.
Pickman's Model is a chilling reminder of the power of art to evoke our deepest fears and the potential consequences of dabbling in the unknown. It makes you wonder, what might lie hidden beneath the surface of the art we admire? And what price might we pay for seeking out the darkest corners of human creativity?
It's a question worth pondering. Art can be both beautiful and terrifying. Sometimes the line between the two is blurry.
From the dark side of art to the depths of human grief, our next story, Dreams in the Witch House, is all about loss and longing, and the lengths we'll go to connect with those who have passed on.
This one sounds emotionally charged. Tell me more.
It follows Walter, a man haunted by the death of his twin sister, Eberly.
Twins, that's a special bond. I can imagine his grief is profound.
He becomes fixated on finding her in the spirit world, using a drug called liquid gold to enter a dreamlike forest where spirits reside.
So he's using drugs to travel to the spirit world. That sounds risky.
It is. And he does find Eberly, but she's hesitant to leave. She seems to have found peace in this other realm.
That's interesting. It's like she's moved on, found a new kind of existence, while he's still clinging to the past.
While searching for her, he meets a painter who's depicting a witch's house, believing it holds the key to traveling between dimensions.
A witch's house, huh? That sounds familiar.
It echoes those themes from Pickman's Model, right?
Yeah.
Where art becomes a gateway to something beyond our world.
Definitely. There's a recurring idea here that certain artists might have a special connection to these hidden realms.
Intrigued by this witch's house, Walter rents the same room that Keziah Mason, the witch, lived in centuries ago.
So he's literally stepping into the witch's domain.
And things start to get really strange.
Yeah.
He encounters this rat with a human-like laugh.
Oh, that's just creepy.
And he even has a ghostly encounter with Keziah herself.
It's like he's crossed a line, entered a world where the rules of reality no longer apply.
He learns that Keziah was accused of witchcraft and hanged, but her body disappeared from the grave. She believes she could travel between dimensions and even sacrificed a child to achieve this goal.
That's a chilling backstory. It adds a layer of historical context to the story, reminding us of the very real persecution of those accused of witchcraft.
Walter, in his desperation to bring Epperly back, accidentally frees Keziah's spirit.
Oh no! He's unleashed something he can't control.
and she targets him as the new sacrifice.
Classic horror trope. Tampering with forces we don't understand never ends well.
His friend, Frank, and the painter try to help, but Keziah's power is too strong.
This sounds intense. Is there any hope for Walter?
Just when all hope seems lost, Epperly appears. She uses her own spiritual energy to protect Walter.
Wow, so she sacrifices herself to save him. That's true love.
But Keziah's familiar, the rat, it enters Walter's body.
Oh no, it's like Keziah's evil might live on through him. That's a chilling ending.
Dreams in the Witch House explores those deep-seated fears about loss, the allure of the forbidden, and the consequences of meddling with the supernatural. It makes you wonder, how far would you go to reconnect with someone you've lost, and what price are you willing to pay?
You know, from haunted houses and grieving parents to collectors, it seems like human desire is at the heart of so many of these stories. And our next one, The Viewing, well, let's just say it takes collecting to a whole new level.
This one's got an eccentric millionaire named Lionel at the center of it all. He's obsessed with rare artifacts, and he invites this group of experts to his mansion for a private viewing of something truly unique.
A private viewing? What is it?
An extraterrestrial artifact.
Whoa, hold on, an alien artifact? Where'd you even get that?
That's part of the mystery.
Huh.
But what's interesting is Lionel's motivation. He's fixated on the artifact's rarity and value like it's a trophy. He's not really considering the potential danger.
I see. So it's not really about scientific discovery for him. It's about possession, owning something nobody else has.
Right, and he invites this diverse group to the viewing. A physicist, a novelist, a psychic, and even a musician.
That's quite the mix. What do they make of this artifact?
Their reactions are all over the place. Some are skeptical, some are intrigued, and some are just plain terrified. But Lionel, he wants them to experience the artifact on a deeper level.
Oh, how does he plan on doing that?
He offers them a special drug, something to enhance their consciousness, he says.
Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, things take a dark turn. The artifact starts emitting a high-pitched sound and intense light.
What happens to the guests?
They start experiencing physical and emotional distress. It's like the artifact is messing with their minds and bodies. And then, out of nowhere, the novelist just explodes.
Explodes? Like what?
Yeah, it's gruesome,
Sure.
bloody mess. And then the psychic, drawn to the artifact's energy, tries to touch it.
What happens?
It's like the artifact absorbs her, consumes her consciousness.
This artifact sounds dangerous, and Lionel invited these people to his home to experience this.
Right. He's so obsessed, he's lost all sense of reason.
Yeah. This isn't going to end well, is it?
Nope. Lionel, in a trance-like state, he approaches the artifact, completely enthralled. The physicist and the musician manage to escape, but Lionel, he merges with the artifact.
Merges with it. What does that even mean?
He transforms into this grotesque, monstrous creature. It's like his obsession literally consumes him.
That's a terrifying image, a reminder that our desires can twist us into something unrecognizable.
And the creature escapes into the city, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. So not only is Lionel gone, but now there's this monstrous entity on the loose.
Talk about unintended consequences. The Viewing is a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked obsession and the importance of considering the consequences of our actions, especially when dealing with the unknown.
From the dangers of the unknown to the depths of grief, our final story, Murmurations, is a bit different. It's about loss, healing, and finding peace amidst chaos.
Okay, this sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
It follows a couple, Nancy and Edgar. They're studying the flocking behavior of starlings, these amazing aerial displays called murmurations, on a remote island. But underneath their research, they're both dealing with the recent loss of their daughter.
So they're using their work as a way to cope with their grief.
In a way, yes. Nancy especially, she's having a hard time. She becomes fixated on the starlings, seeing parallels between their movements and her own emotional turmoil.
That makes sense. Those synchronized movements, it's like they're searching for order in the midst of chaos.
And the island adds another layer to the story. They're staying in a house with a tragic past. The previous owner drowned her son and then killed herself.
So the island itself is steeped in sadness and loss. It's like their grief is amplified by the environment.
Exactly, and Nancy, being so sensitive, starts having visions of the woman and her son. She feels this connection to their pain, their story.
It's like she's tapping into the residual energy of their tragedy.
She becomes determined to help them find peace, believing that in doing so, she might find some solace for herself.
That's a beautiful thought. Healing through helping others.
Right. And through these dreamlike encounters, Nancy guides them towards acceptance and closure.
It's a powerful act of empathy and compassion, a recognition that we're all connected by our shared experiences of grief and loss.
And as Nancy and Edgar prepare to leave the island, the starlings take flight, disappearing into the horizon.
It's like a symbolic release, a letting go of the pain and sorrow.
Murmurations reminds us that grief is a journey, not a destination, and that sometimes finding peace for others can help us find peace within ourselves. So we've explored some pretty dark and disturbing themes tonight. Greed, obsession, loss, the allure of the forbidden, and the power of art to both captivate and terrify us.
These stories, even though they're fictional, they tap into something very real, very human. They remind us of the shadows that lurk within us all and the choices we make when confronted with the unknown.
And as we wrap up this deep dive into the macabre, we leave you with this question. What resonated with you the most? What details stuck with you? What insights, if any, did you glean from these chilling tales?
Because sometimes exploring the darkness can help us better understand ourselves and the world around us. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, the most terrifying monsters are often the ones we create ourselves.